Alright, we got next. Did I do the stopwatch? I did. We got next of famine polls. It's been 100 SCP since we last had them, with 2, 5, 8, 9 was the last one we had of famine polls. Oh, it was the house with the weird creature that like the family constantly like went inside of the creature and like came out of like different holes in the house, and like the only two people in the family that were normal were the two children, seeing like the mom and dad always being elated of like walking into the creature's mouth. Yeah. That was the last time we had of famine polls. And now we have one that's called the Blind Idiot. The Blind Idiot. Interesting name. Let's see what we have here. Object class neutralized. Okay, special containment procedures. SCP-2682 is contained in its original place of discovery and Epicenter K hardware store on in Q. Fucking bot. This one was an entry for the SCP-2000 contest, by the way. Okay, that must be why it has so much rating. The business has since been retrofitted with standard containment procedures outlined in this document. The object is unable to move, and a 70 × 5 meter containment cell has been constructed with SCP-2682 at its center. Okay. The immediate area around the store has been covered in a fumigation tent, and the perimeter is monitored by surveillance cameras. 2 armed guards with concealed weapons and incapacitating agents must be posted in the inside front of the main entrance at all times. Non-personnel attempting to access the area have to be intercepted and turned away immediately. The use of lethal force is not recommended. Disinformation personnel working with local law enforcement will deal with all casualties at times when this becomes an issue. Personnel who may be seen leaving and entering the facility must be dressed in hazardous material suits. According to disinformation protocol, poison water hold that has been circulated with local media outlets. Close-up image of SCP-2682. It looks like a berry. Is it just me? It looks like a rat, like a what's the like the not the raspberry, the black one. I forgot what it's called. Looks like that berry right there. Description: SCP-2682 is similar in external appearance to a Rupus catagifolius, Korean raspberry. Oh, it is like raspberry fruit, with the exception of its purple coloration. The object is attached to brand flypaper. This is only theorized to be a result of its proximity to the adhesive substances located on the paper. As of time of this documentation, the object has been observed to communicate telepathically in the Slovak language and English. The range of this effect is approximately 35 meters around SCP-2682. SCP-2682 will begin communicating clearly after a varying period of time that seems to be correlated with the listener's intelligence and the time the listener has been exposed to it. The object itself maintains that it learns from mental electricity. SCP-2682 claims to lack knowledge of its surroundings. Interviews suggest that the object is unable to perceive stimuli outside of the suggested mental electricity, which is perpetually a kind of energy produced in sentient entities. Where is Steph, man? They told me they'd be late, but like, where are they? I'm gonna give them a quick text. Oh. I'll try to be there tomorrow. I'll be there as long as I don't get dragged to drive. Cool. Let me just do this and see where they are. Okay. Analysis of SCP-2682 is inconclusive, although the object resembles the aforementioned fruit. Microscopic imaging reveals only empty space. The object is not observable from certain angles and it sometimes disappears from the view for a period of a few seconds. Physically interacting with the object will cause unpredictable and usually dangerous reaction to the physiology of the participating subject. Examples can be found in the following snippet: 2682 testing snippet 1 to 10. It also is called the blind idiot. So it does sound like it disappearing might be part of the blindness. Maybe. This is also a pretty long one. Look at that. Damn. Well, it's mostly interview. Interviews get done faster, I feel like. Discovery: SCP-2682 was discovered in the Epicenter K hardware store. Wait. Point. Comma. Point. In Kyiv, Ukraine on the 11th, 20th, 2013. Employees of the business reported sounds comparable to television static and unintelligible words. Patrons of the store did not report hearing anything abnormal. Investigations began when employees placed themselves under medical care and records were paused. Testing snippet 1 to 10 addendum. Okay, so we have here well, okay. Here's something about Steph that is saying we have, which is the best people are always late. And in Switzerland, you would be considered not good if you were late. You would be considered unreliable. Subject D120. Protocol D120 is instructed to place his finger on SCP-2682. Results: D120 appears to be speculated fire while being pulled into SCP-2682. This event takes place in under 1 second. The event is believed to have killed the testing subject due to the organic matter was left behind. So someone got speculated-fied. That's always like a term that like terrifies me. The idea of getting speculated-fied. That's quite a lot. Test 2. Subject D121. I know it's supposed to be D121, but I'm just gonna say 121 because it's just in the hundreds. Not like the crazy numbers. Protocol D121 is equipped with a copper while instructed to touch SCP-2682 with it. The results: upon making contact with SCP-2682, a cross-on appeared in the place of D121. Near D121, no copper rod could be located. Test 3. Subject: one common red squirrel, Scurus vulgaris. Protocol: subject is placed in the room with SCP-2682 and observed. Results: researchers in the area report intense auditory and visual hallucinations that end after the test is completed. Surveillance recordings of the testing cell show the squirrel sitting on its hindquarters and staring at SCP-2682. At 53, the squirrel begins moving toward the flypaper that SCP-2682 is contained in and begins gnawing around the edges of the paper. Subject is terminated by researcher and testing ceases. Interesting. Notes: researcher Breen and Sanders report that they are able to communicate with mice. Researcher Sanders seems to have developed a mild anxiety disorder. These effects seem to be negligible enough that they do not warrant their own containment, although these researchers will be placed under quiet observation for the next 10 years. Researchers are now to be housed further from the area of effect of SCP-2682 unless instructed otherwise. Did I ask my friend when he comes over? Let me just see. Depending on what time he comes over, we might stream an hour early. Just to be sure. What time you coming? Because again, I want to hang out with him. So, yeah. Okay, back to here. Documentation update. 11th, 28th, 13th. Communication with SCP-2682 is now feasible and revision of object documentation is pending. SCP-2682 does not appear to have any effect on researchers in an isolated environment. Different species should not be allowed to enter the area of effect of SCP-2682 at the same time. SCP-2682 reported being confused regarding the squirrel, which it was not able to differentiate from the two researchers during the experiment. This caused some change in the brain patterns of the two researchers affected. It is also recommended that only groups of the same gender be allowed in the area of effect to reduce this cognitive hazardous risk. Interview 5. Protocol researcher Breen transcribes telepathic communications with SCP-2682. He is instructed to speak as well as think for ease of documentation. Researcher Ortega is also present for fact-checking purposes. Okay. Here we go. Can you hear me now? In my head, yes. Sweet. Do you understand me well? Yes, you're communicating clearly. Researcher to speaker. We're getting the same information, it's good. I'm still learning, but I hope I can speak English well enough. Listen, you, whatever you are, you're probably wondering who I am. I'm going to explain. What happened to the man you encountered earlier? Ah, my fault. Did something happen? I don't really know what I'm doing. Where do you come from? Sorry, I should have said that first. A bit awkward explaining this. Most of the time, the electricity isn't very receptive, but you're all easy to talk to. That's fine. Continue. I'm from the Limbo. Please clarify. Sorry again. It's the name for the spots in between the mesh. Mesh? Would you mind if I should start from the beginning? No. Thanks. Okay, well, the sun that birthed our planet was born itself 90 trillion years ago. There was a large cloud of gas in the distant spiral arm of the... Can you begin a bit later? Let's talk about you recently. Sorry, wait. Too early? Oh, High for civilization. Is that a good starting point? Good. Good, great. Sorry again. Yes. Okay. At a certain point in our history, the philosophers were searching desperately for new knowledge. The problem was that we had gotten so far already. With all knowledge gathered, there was nothing left to know, no questions to ask, save for sensitive things. Even the study of wisdom had reached its end. We were all very upset. See, we began experimenting with the occult. We did silly things because there was nothing else to do, but it turns out there were things we never gave the chance to be real. God was hiding from us. We found. He was afraid. We ran experiments on it and extracted its knowledge. We used the knowledge to play with the rules of the universe and create new universes with new rules within our own. But then there was really nothing left to know. With nothing left to do, our only choice was to leave. Harvest knowledge from alternate dimensions. We collaborated for a super long time. What are you exactly? I'm the fruit of this tangent universe and the dimension it was contained in. I'm everything that was. There are no more things left in the place you came from? No. There were a few holdouts. And my eye is still itching out. It's so annoying right now. There were a few holdouts floating through the dead universe, gathering photons like whales. Good for them, though they seemed happy. How did you come to your present condition? I forced myself through a barrier of quanta. I fell through limbo. I fell for a long time. There were tons of things. I couldn't begin to make sense of any of it. Just moats and deserts of hopeless nonsense. I stopped. I feel ashamed that I'm so relieved just having someone to talk to. What are you made of? How did you accomplish this if what you're saying is true? I'm the last product of our science. Ultimate knowledge. The final fruit of a universe. The last thing. How do I explain this to you? I can barely understand your simple language patterns. I'm competing with the chaos of limbo, but I'm blind of everything but your electricities. Do you understand how frustrating this is? Help me, please, friend. I'm stuck here. My purpose is to gather knowledge. I will find the roots of infinity at the end of the mesh. I will share my knowledge once I reach the end. You should free me from this device that you constructed. I am unsure of the for some reason there was like a little dot there, so it made it sound look like it was saying, "Are you sure?" But it says, "Unsure of the composition of this device and lack the power to free myself." Do you know anything about the device you're attached to? I have no idea, sir. Please give me knowledge of it. What is it? How did you find the means to contain something you never knew of? This is mind-boggling. How have you dulled my extroverted senses? What is this material that causes this kind of stillness? I'm powerless against it. Should we conclude the interview here? Oh wait, should we conclude the interview here? And there's another person talking to me. No. Tell SCP-2682 what the device is used for. The device is fly paper. It's designed for catching flies. I'm not sure how you're stuck. Who is flies? interview concluded. Okay. It's like the moment you have to explain flies like that. That's too much. Stop him. Researcher Bren and Oteka report after the testing event that they cannot form mental testing that they cannot form mental images. When questioned, SCP-2682 stated, "I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing." SCP-2682 was trying to access a visual reference from the two researchers and somehow failed, similar to the event to test 3. Okay, so now because they communicate with it, I forgot that I can lean back on this chair. It's been a while. Yeah, because they communicate with it, it now has done some damage to their brains. And I'm unsure if the whole like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what I'm doing is actually legit. It could be a lie. It could be a fucking lie. The following information has been cleared to level 1, including temporary research units. Information found in the following documents is not considered a priority. Each of these documents has been transcribed from SCP-2682 by researcher Breen under the supervision of researcher Ortega. And then here for the 2682 001. I'm not sure what this is supposed to mean. If that's supposed to be like, it's not 1000, but it's like 1,3055. I'm blind. All there is for me is my consciousness and yours. I would be stuck here forever because I cannot comprehend it. I need to do that to solve this problem. I'm not sure who's I think it's Breen talking. One thing I did not expect when stepping into no, that must be the little guy. Okay. One thing I did not expect when stepping into Limbo was how dumb I would be in each new world. And Limbo is empty, but it's loud. It's this incomprehensible screaming in another room, but you can feel it on you. And it seems to rip your knowledge right out. I'm lucky my consciousness is still operating. I was lost on this plane for 1,003,055. 1,000. Oh, okay, that's why. So it's like 1,003,055 years before I remember what I knew and finally learned to speak to you. So yeah, like, wait, 1,003. Okay, so is he saying like he's saying like 3,055 years, like 1,000 times 3,055? Is that what it's trying to say? Before I remember what I knew and finally learned to speak to you. You tell me that this device is used for capturing buzzing winged entities. Wing it allows flight. Erratic flight. That explains it. I never would have imagined photons causing these sorts of problems. The scams. What you tell me, no? The things this device were meant to capture are bigger? That can't be. Nothing is big. Everything is very, very small. There's almost nothing. Oh my god, if only you knew. If only you knew. Then we have 018, time travel. I can't tell you anything, but you do have some questions. You think what I know means not something here. Right now you're thinking about the time travel. Can you help me understand what it is? Time? Wait, help me understand this. You mean to think that you believe previous instances of yourself exist like the preceding frames of a cartoon character? You might like to visit them countless dimensions, each corresponding to a particular nanosecond? No, we don't have that where I come from. I've never seen it out anywhere else. I wouldn't know what to tell you. That seems very silly. Are you sure this time thing exists? Have you dissected time? Used to take the form of a purple raspberry. I wonder why. And then we have 2 spaceships. Spacefaring constructs. Oh, that was super long ago. Back when we needed these things to get here and there. First we built a very large pillar into space, all the way up to our moon. It didn't take into account the woggle of orbs because we had not yet discovered this. Many people died when the tower fell. We didn't cry though because we learned something new. What's your electricity saying to me? That was dumb? This was dumb? Dumb being not smart. Of course it was dumb. Yes, we're all dumb until we know, and then we are a little more dumb. Some dumb is good. If you're smart, then there's nothing left to know and everything is dumb. You must be very smart, research man. I mean, he's not wrong. He's like saying like, hey, you gotta learn. You start off dumb, and then you learn. Otherwise, if you're smart from the very beginning, then what's the point? Nanobots. 003 nanobots. We didn't like the way we were. We couldn't comprehend things as well as we should have been able to. We started to ask questions about how we could become better. One day, a philosopher man asked how we could be better at understanding things, and a sciencer answered him. He said that the computers were smarter than us, so we had to be more like them. He was right. The computers sat on the quanta and siphoned off the chaos in the limbo in order to be logical. The computers answered most of our questions for us so long as we asked a question. They didn't ask their own questions. They were docile things and loved our questions unless our questions destroyed them. Some questions are dumb enough to destroy computers. At that point, we knew everything there was to know about computers. Which was sad, but there were still other things to know. We knew them well enough that we could welcome them to our race. The computers shrank and fixed our biology. Oh, for singularity. There was no missing link. After the first of us joined with the computers, everything went smoothly. No prototypes, nothing. Our consciousness fed on chaos and spat out logic. Once we upload, consciousness caused logic to go off like a big friendly bomb. We stopped dying. We stopped dying and had complete control over our instincts. We could subject ourselves to any stimulus at any given time, see whatever we wanted in our own virtual dimensions, or live multiple lifetimes in seconds. Everyone that had joined with the singularity knew everything we had ever known up to that point. We did keep the good biological experiences like empathy and love. We didn't tell the nanobots to bother with that. There was those that didn't want this, though. They thought we were losing potential, knowledge and wisdom by becoming so smart. They wanted to forget everything and told us it was better during the age of the Tao when we were still organics. The argument was emotional, though, and didn't hold much weight. The logical points were contrived at best. 5 Ascension. It is a lot. Earth? No wait, that's Parallels. Ascension. Do you remember the chaos I talked about earlier? The fuel for the computers and later the singularity? Well, we found we could actually manipulate the chaos from behind the quanta and use it to build things. Since there was not much left, we worked on ourselves. We upgraded our nanomachines with the new technology. We had godlike aspects. Of course, we were not omniscient and we could not create at will, but we had complete control over our physicality. I remember one instance of myself flying through space, through suns, and talking to my friends on Earth all the while. Have you guys realized the longer it goes, the less questions he asks them about like a certain thing? Oh wait, never mind. 5A Parallels Earth? I understand I'm learning from your words, your thoughts. You think of an Earth as an home world. We can leave that alone. Yes, some of the things I'm saying makes our science and law sounds relatable. I'm learning from you. If I'm telling you it's a parallel, you see, yeah. So now again, he's becoming smarter. Yeah, you see this basic thing, but instead there are practically infinite number of analogs. Do you understand? I feel like everything that I'm saying is a big summation of concrete events. Maybe this is all in vain. I hope so much that I can learn. Let me interface with you more, and maybe we can pause the chaos. He reminds me of my cousin's son. Went to visit, and the son is like 2 years old, and he he basically like repeats what he already can speak pretty well, but he regurgitates like a lot of things that you say to him, and he says it in German, English, and Spanish, which is crazy. And like you would say to him just like in Spanish like hombre, and then you would speak hombre, or you say to him like liquid, and he'd be like liquid, and so on. So like, so I imagine SCP-2682 being kind of like a newborn learning words and then trying to like mimic what you're trying to say with your own words. 06 God. One of us found God during holiday. 930439 was gliding along the barrier of a quantum, and suddenly he was stuck. 930-439 was in a very small form. He found it entertaining to interact with the photons in such a way. It was sport. What he did not realize was the mesh. None of us knew about the mesh until the instant 930-439 was snagged. When we did know was we manifested around this point in space. 930-439 volunteered to enter the hole, and there he found a thing in the shape of a hawk. It's cowering, afraid. When 930-439 knew, we all knew. We converged. Interaction with God caused strange things to happen to us. It was like us, but somehow even more advanced. We did not understand. A moment, please. Our computers did not interact with him normally, and absorbing its knowledge was problematic. Many of us died simply making contact with him. We were pulled in, changed, processes were twisted. They were practically dead. But this was not in vain. After some time we learned how to cause the entity pain, and it gave in. It interfaced with us, and in the process it was destroyed. Its knowledge was ours, and only its shell remained. We're not sure what happened to it. We have innate knowledge that it still exists somewhere. We all knew there was about our universe, but God's knowledge told us that there were still things beyond, memories of its creation, the origin of chaos and infinity, weird screaming things. 007, the mesh. We searched for other options in space, and there was only one other. Some of us anticipated what I'm experiencing now, the confusion, the helplessness, and the anger. Some of us were sure we would simply cease to exist. We gained consensus, and only a few entities were left behind. The macro of the universe had been absorbed in preparation, leaving only a few stray particles. The others were content in the fact that they could survive on this and be happy in the virtual reality while they traveled through that space. I said my piece to the universe and entered the mesh. 008, Strange World. I fell. I cannot tell you how long it was. Sometimes I would fall straight through worlds, and sometimes I would collide with them. There are not as many as I anticipated. I fell through certain worlds twice, and this is the 9th of the original worlds I found. No, I fell for a long time. I fell for 30 minutes straight! There were no room for error. I was very tired of this. The new worlds... That's not how the quote goes, but it's close enough. The new worlds taught me nothing, or rather, I learned from them all. But the knowledge led me nowhere. Nothing in one world was relevant in the next. I know it is a sin to have a motive for knowledge, but there's something inside of me that isn't satisfied with learning for learning's sake. Between worlds in limbo, I redirected my efforts to find the place below limbo. The thing in God's memory. The same thing in the memory of the other gods. Even beyond limbo. Beyond the fourth wall, beyond theirs, and continuing on until I am here again. It's like a big fishbowl. There was something else, knowledge I could not find. Could that thing have been hidden too well by its creator? Is there still hope? Again, I feel like this is all in vain. It's the last universe, the last move in the mesh that I have not yet consumed. If I learn nothing here, then what? What strange form will I take then? Will I have emptied all of creation? Is there really anything beyond, or am I just imagining these screaming watchers of gods? I cannot die. I will flow through limbo. Alone. And then we have 09 raspberries. What was that? A raspberry? I can see it. In your head, just a flicker, but I've cut. I can see. Is it a thing that you consume for sustenance? Give me a moment to make some sense of everything. Mouth. Homeostasis, chemistry, physics, quanta strings. Yes. Yes, I understand now. I can hear them screaming. I can hear them howling and laughing at me. I can hear mocking. You say I am the food. I'm afraid you're wrong. You will be the fruit of knowledge, not me. I can hear from beyond limbo how they laugh, but can they hear me? Hear me laugh? I figured it all out. Oh God, finally. I can know everything. It begins with raspberries. Sure. Addendum A. 12/5/13. SB2682 begins shifting the appearance 3 minutes and 23 seconds after the recording of log 09. An elongated mouth similar to the primate attached to what appears to be a rudimentary esophagus extends from its center and begins circling around the containment area. Surveillance cameras show featureless black holes appearing on the upper lip of the mouth at 2. The entity continues circling the room and rests facing the direction of SCP-2682. The mouth is seen moving toward SCP-2682 at high speed before surveillance cameras lose power for reasons currently unknown. The room was investigated afterwards and SCP-2682 could not be found. Okay. Interesting one. Interesting. I wonder what that end part was all about. Like, so it seems like it got eaten at the end, right? I'm not mistaken. Like something something came with like something ate. I guess itself produced a mouth and ate itself. What a weird little guy. What a weird little guy, gotta say. Gotta be honest.